Amazon has announced that Kindles now support EPUB files, which is great news. However, it's technically not the truth and could mean more hassle. But first, let me quickly show you how you can now get EPUB files onto your Kindle device, and then after that we can talk a bit more about EPUB support on Kindles. So, in order to get your EPUB file onto your Kindle, you obviously first need an EPUB file. And if you're not sure what an EPUB is, it just stands for electronic publication, and it's one of the most common electronic book formats out there. Amazon has their own electronic book format, which is why for ages EPUBs haven't been compatible with Kindles. So, I have an EPUB file here that I want to read on my Kindle, and it is Moby Dick. Now, in order to get this onto my Kindle, it's really easy. All I have to do is go to my email right here, open a new message, and then drag and drop the EPUB file straight into the email. That will upload, and then all you have to do is enter your Kindle email address, which is this for me. I don't need to enter any subject, don't need to enter any body text. That's it, and then just hit send. And from your computer or other device, that's literally all you have to do with your EPUB file. Now, if you're not sure where to get your Kindle email address, all you have to do is go to the settings. Then under your account, you can see down the bottom here, it's got send to Kindle email. And that's your unique email address where you can send all your electronic book files. Just make sure you log into your Amazon account on a browser to assign which email addresses it will accept emails from. Then once you've sent the email, all you have to do is hit sync up the top, and this might take a minute or two for the book to come through once you've emailed it. But just be patient and make sure you set the sort to most recent. And then there you go, the book shows up ready to read. So that is how you can now get your EPUB book files onto your Kindle and read them on your Kindle. Now, like I mentioned, Amazon has not supported EPUB files on Kindle devices since way back in 2007. And the main reason for this is really so that people will be more inclined to buy books off the Amazon bookstore, which are formatted in the Amazon file format, instead of going to third-party book publishers where you can most commonly buy EPUB files. And so really it was just a profit maximization thing. So you might be wondering why they've now enabled support seemingly on Kindles for EPUB files, but the truth is that Kindles still don't technically support EPUB files. What's actually going on behind the scenes when you email your EPUB book file through to Amazon and to your Kindle, it's being converted in the back end, and then when it hits your Kindle, it's actually a Kindle formatted book file. It's no longer an EPUB file. And so I was kind of wondering why they've even given us this option at all if we still can't technically put an EPUB onto our Kindle. And I think it's just because people have been complaining about it and wanting it for ages. They've sort of finally given in and given you a bit of a way to get EPUBs onto your Kindle. However, there's still issues with this. And the main downsides to this is that you do have to keep an original copy of your EPUB book file that you've purchased or downloaded from the web in a separate folder, because as soon as you send it to your Kindle email address, it gets reformatted, and then the EPUB file is technically lost when it hits your Kindle, because all that's going to your Kindle is a converted Kindle book file. The other big downside to this is that because the Kindle itself isn't technically holding an EPUB book file and it needs to be converted into a Kindle book file first, sometimes formatting could get messed up and your book won't look as good or be as easy to read once it's converted as opposed to what it was like in the original file. Plus, in your Kindle library, things like book covers probably won't show up and it'll just have the title, which is kind of sad because it's always nice to see your really pretty book covers lined up in your Kindle library. But all that said, I think it's still an improvement. I think it's nice that we can have the option of being able to download an EPUB file, particularly if it comes from a place like a library that doesn't support Kindle, which is an issue that I've personally run into before. Plus, you don't have to go through all those really annoying third-party apps like Calibre. I know some people seem to love it, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't want to install another piece of software to manage my books. So now being able to skip that third-party software and not having to convert to a MOBI format is really handy. So I think it's a step in the right direction. As of the middle of 2022, you can still only email EPUB files to your Kindle, and that's the only way to convert it. Later this year, Amazon's going to give out some other options in terms of how to convert your EPUB into a Kindle supported file. But for now, that's how things stand. So let me know, do you use EPUB book files? Do you buy EPUB book files and do you send them to your Kindle, or do you just get all your Kindle books directly from the Amazon store? I definitely tend to get most of my books through the Amazon store just because of the convenience factor, which I guess is kind of what they're aiming to do with this whole thing. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I'd be keen to hear your thoughts. Other than that, apologies about the break in uploads recently. I'm definitely trying to get back into it. I'm just readjusting to having a new full-time job and trying to do YouTube at the same time. Plus, I've gotten COVID again. This is my second time with COVID. This is why I sound a bit off today. But hopefully I'll be back to normal very soon and back to uploading weekly videos at the very least. That's my goal. That's my goal for this month. So we'll see how we go. Other than that, I hope you have an amazing day and I'll see you very soon in the next video.